Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Vox Jed Fight About It. This episode is 57. We just finished recording our pre-show. We talked about some, decently controversial topics on there. So if you're curious about what we were talking about, go check it out. But how are you doing today, Bucks?
I'm doing pretty good. I am doing spectacular, and I would like to say why I'm doing spectacular. Not necessarily why, but one of the reasons why I'm doing spectacular. And that is, last week I gave everybody an update on, hey, I'm gonna start working out. I started working out just this morning before this recording, and now I'm working out. That's just the thing that I'm doing, and I was very gung ho about it, and I was very ready to do it, and I'm sorry to say that I have completely kept up with my workout plan. Turns out, and I am a week in, little over a week now, and I feel fucking great. Dude, I feel amazing. I felt like shit all week last week. I felt very sore. You probably can't swear within the first few minutes of these without YouTube being mad at me, but whatever.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares at this stage? But I felt very sore, head to foot, for like the first cycle, like the first 4 or 5 days of the cycle, because it's like a day regimen that repeats, and so like. I was on yesterday doing my upper body workouts, and I was like, man, these are good. Like I started doing them for these upper body workouts for the third time, because I had done them during my upper body day, and then I had done them during my full body day, and now I'm doing them again during my next upper body day, and I'm noticing, man, this is significantly easier already. I don't know if return on investment's always going to be like this. I doubt it. I assume there's going to be a plateau point where it's like, yeah, this is about as easy as this can get for me, under my current conditions. But my body is taking a lot easier coming into week 2, and I feel real good about myself. I'm fixing up my posture, that too.
Yeah.
Like,
that
posture
always
is
happens
just
when you
being
exercise.
fixed by the fact that I've been too sore to slouch in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But it's good.
No, exercise is great, man. Like, genuinely, if you are like able-bodied and you don't have other disabilities, exercise, I've heard, makes people feel like they are on top of the world forever. Especially like you're doing bodyweight workouts right now. Which are good, but that plateau point is going to be coming sooner than I think you would expect, but that's fairly common with bodyweight workouts.
That's fine. I don't necessarily want to be like, I don't necessarily need it to scale at infinitum, this workout. I just need it to scale as like, I'm not a workout guy. I don't go to the gym. I just do my 30-minute workout in the morning, and that gets me going and gets the blood flowing and gets me up in the morning and keeps the body toned, And like,
that
I necessarily
is an
need to look all that
healthy
good.
way
I
to
just
see
want to be in decent shape. And in like, I just want to be not even necessarily in ideal shape, but just in good shape. Not that I'm in bad shape right now, but it's like, I got a couple pounds I could cut, and I could stand to be able to lift a few more pounds worth of shit.
Yeah. I need to like get back into it, but like, sadly, I can't do the bodyweight stuff because my body weight's just too much for me for a lot of those exercises. But I need to get into like lifting again, because that's really easy on my heart, because you can just sit down, do it, take a break between them, keep going. But nonetheless, I'm really happy that you've been having a good time with the workouts, because like, I know a lot about exercise. Yeah. Ironically, it's funny that a lot of people who are like me and have like struggled with their weight for a lot of their life know like a ton about working out and like weight management.
Unless somebody is in like really bad shape actively, like they've chosen to eat like shit and treat themselves like shit, and that's why they're big. Like, other than those people, which are a stunning minority, like, being big just means you have to know a lot more about how your body works and how healthy, like what you need to do to stay like remotely healthy,
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that's where it comes from. If I had to venture a guess, is just like you get a lot more of that knowledge as it goes along, because you need a lot more of it to get by,
Oh yeah, and you're like fed a lot more of it, but that's more of a conversation about how we treat people. But,
like, you get a lot of it culturally too, yeah.
Yeah. But nonetheless, those bodyweight workouts are going to do wonders for you, man. Especially if you just want to keep with them. You're just going to you're going to maintain what you have right now. That's the best thing about bodyweight is that you literally just I just feel a little bit more fit and I'm not necessarily jacked or anything and I don't have to worry about anything really. I just feel a little bit better.
I'm very routine driven. So, what I'm thinking is I'm going to keep doing this. Now that I'm in routine with it, it's becoming easier and easier to get myself to do my workouts. And like now that it's been there a week, it's really cementing. But I think my hope, right? The end goal here is get in okay shape and then be able to just maintain that forever. Because I feel like having worked out every day from age 24 onward is going to make 30 and 40 and 50 and so on look a lot better on me, I think. Just for that simple
100%.
bit of activity in the morning, you know?
Yeah. Because, the thing is that when you have put off weight like that, it's hard to, ever get it back, really. And especially, at the age that you're at. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so he went through all boot camp, and, he, of course, had to get, fairly built and strong through boot camp. And his genetics, you just kind of, once you have gotten your body to somewhere at this age, it kind of locks in a little bit more, where it's yeah, he's got a little bit of a gut, and he's approaching 50, but he's still pretty fit. He's in good condition because being able to keep up with exercises fairly routinely from a young age, and especially starting it from a young age is so good. It's so good.
Again, I don't want to be wearing tight t-shirts. I don't want to look like J.K. Simmons necessarily, but I want to make it so that in a decade or two, or even now, hell, I take my shirt off and people are pleasantly surprised with what comes out of there. You know? Because right now I'm just kind of I look at myself in the mirror and I go, yeah, I think I look all right. I don't know that I would necessarily want to go to a public place where I would have to have my shirt off though. You know? I don't look bad. I just am not I've got a little bit of flab going on that could use a little tightening in. And so that's mostly what it's for. It's mostly just keep the body active, keep it in decent shape, you know?
Yeah. I'm really struggling. I talked about this a lot on the show because this was a saga for us pretty much where prior to we were in moving period. And then we got out of moving period because I then entered I'm sick as fuck for a month and a half. And so I went from I'm not getting into any routines because I'm about to fucking move. There's no point doing that. And then, no, I'm not doing any routines because I'm fucking sick and I feel like shit. And that was that for a month. And I am just stuck in a rut of I feel physically worse every day. Where it's I'm tired every day now. And apparently that's hypothyroidism. I'm convinced that it must be getting worse because my symptoms they've stopped fluctuating. Because when I was super sick, they would go hypothyroid and then up to hyperthyroid, back and forth, and it made me feel fucking insane, genuinely. But now, it's just settled into hypothyroidism, and I just kind of feel like shit. And I'm losing all my body hair, man. I don't know what's going on. But, I know what's going on,
Goddamn.
I need to get a higher dose of levothyroxine. But
it's gonna be one of these episodes, folks. Remember episode 40 some odd where Jed was yep, let's start with a health update, and started with 30 minutes of the most depressing monologue you've ever heard in your life? Yeah, it's gonna be one of these, folks.
No, but the reason I'm bringing it up now is because I'm getting out of it. I'm working my way out of it. I registered up for college classes again, so I've got some college courses on the docket coming up, and I'm trying to get things under wrap. I was just bringing up that I'm struggling through the first few days of all right, I gotta get up, I gotta do something. I have to do at least something.
So, at least one thing.
Nonetheless.
And I found that's where my line of success has been found, is just okay, doesn't matter what I do, I just have to start somewhere these days. It just has to be anything, and then it will be something later. For instance, I got back to streaming recently, proper. We've talked about me getting back to streaming a couple weeks ago, but that kind of pivoted downward because we were playing Split Fiction, a game that I don't want to say anything mean about, but a game that I didn't have very much fun streaming, we'll say. And so I was like, man, I don't really feel motivated to do the Sunday streams, and I don't have anything else on my docket. So, like, I guess that's just it for me. And so, like, I need to figure out, I was like, man, why don't I enjoy streaming? Why don't I enjoy this? Why don't I enjoy that? And I was like, well, I'm getting into Fizzcraft, so I need to be in top form before Fizzcraft starts. And to do that, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to get back to streaming before launch day on Saturday the 27th, I think. Don't quote me on that. Whatever the day before today was. 26th, Saturday the 26th. But before then, I need to be in fighting shape for the sake of, like, being able to make the content at an apt level, because I know I'm going to want to stream a lot once it gets started. Like, I might do daily streams the week it comes out for the sake of, like, don't hold me to that, but, like, I'm excited to stream to that degree right now, where it's like, I know I'm going to want to do it, I want to have the stamina ready for it. And so this week, I've been streaming a countdown to Fizzcraft type situation, where I come in every 7 o'clock, which is the closest hour mark to 6:45, which is when the server opens. Why is it on a 45, by the way? I know why, but, like, we could have timed around, like, having, like, doing other stuff beforehand, and, like, stuff. I don't know. 45 is a weird timing, but regardless of the weird timing. It makes sense. It does make sense.
Because I think they want to, like, open it on exactly, whatever time, like the 15 minutes after you start, so they're just giving you the 15 minutes to, like, start stream, I would assume.
Oh, is it 15 minutes to start stream and then the actual server opens at 7?
I feel like I have to assume that's why they said, like, schedule your stream for 45, so that then, like, you'll be comfortably into stream to then, like, all right, now we can go, Fizzcraft is open, and then we get a whole thing.
Do people really do starting soons for 15 minutes?
I don't think it's really starting soon. So we have a very, like, clinical approach to streaming. A lot of people don't have a set time. They just get on stream. They don't even have a starting soon. They just show up. They're talking to chat for 15 minutes.
Well, yeah, but talk to chat for 15 minutes? How do you have a chat to talk to for 15 minutes if you're not playing the video game?
I've seen some people, like, get up from their desks midstream and just, like, well, I'm gonna leave stream running for a little bit. I'm gonna go do something. Give me a moment. I'll be back. You know?
Yeah.
So I genuinely think that a lot of Twitch streamers are
like,
just
15
like,
is not unreasonable. That's just like, that's just a slightly longer timing than usual. And it's like, is that what's considered normal now? Is 15 minutes? That's strange.
Yeah.
But between us starting soon, if you do a 5-minute starting soon, that only leaves us with 10 minutes, really. And I like to do a 5-minute starting soon and then lead into, like, about 5 minutes of talk and then get on with the show. So that's not much longer than usual. So I'd totally be down to do that. Or I am down to do that, of course, because I signed up. But I've been getting myself into fighting shape by doing a few streams on the hour at 7, Monday and Wednesday so far. I haven't done Fridays yet because we're recording this on Thursday, yada yada. But I've been taking it upon myself to, on Monday as a fluke, I was like, well, I have this game that I want to play, and it's real short, so I'll just stream it. And so I stream it. And then I go, okay, well, that was a couple hours, and that was one game. What the hell do I do on Wednesday and Friday now? And so on Wednesday, I went, hey, you know what? Let's do Monument Valley. That's another game in my Steam library that's really short that I haven't played yet. That seems like it would be an interesting enough stream game to do for, like, a one-off. And so I did that for a one-off, and I really enjoyed it. Monument Valley was very good. I had a lot of fun with Monument Valley. It was very pretty. The puzzles were nice. I could see why they made 3 of those and DLCs, is what I'll say. But that game is real good. I'll probably talk about the franchise when I'm done with it on the show. But I played that on Wednesday, and I don't know what I'm gonna do on Friday. I don't know what I did on Friday. We'll find out. But I've taken it upon myself to do 3 single-player games. Yeah, go into the comments on this thing that comes out 2 days after the stream I'm talking about. and let us know what you think I should play on Friday. Or what did I play on Friday? Fuck it, why not? Yeah,
that way we can know now, so that then whatever... Yeah, it's like time travel. Then Vox can figure out what he's streaming by your guys' comments, see?
Yeah, it's gonna be real helpful. Bootstrap and whatnot. But I've been streaming 3 individual games. That's what I've elected to do, is 3 individual games that each of which I'm confident I can beat in 2 hours or under, and, like, have just a few little baby streams of like a couple hours. That way, I don't know if I'll return to the 4-hour format necessarily. I got a lot out of 4 hours. I never felt like I got enough done in 4 hours, so I probably will ramp there eventually. But for now, I'm a 2 hours kind of guy. For the Fizzcraft launch, that one's going to be a little longer, I would presume, just because there will be a lot to do. And streams aren't necessarily going to be a fixed length or anything going forward. But regardless of that, I'm doing these 3 games, and I'm doing them all individual, and that's ramping me up for Fizzcraft. How am I feeling about it? Thank you. I'm glad you asked, Jed. But I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. That has also been a big boon to my like mental and like being able to get through the day. Mm-hmm. It was amazing, even what just streaming on Monday did for me, because after like from the minute I hit stop streaming on Monday and went, holy shit, that was good. That was a good stream, I would say. People showed up, and then we had a chat. There was an active chat. There was a game being played that I was having fun playing. You know, there was enough commentary to be had. I don't feel like I suffered very much. I'm back! And so, like, I got real happy about that. And then Wednesday came and I streamed Monument Valley, and that one felt a little sloppier, but it didn't feel sloppy within the realm of, like, I've lost it. It just felt sloppy as in I didn't really have a lot to say because I was solving puzzles. But I've pretty much middled in now to, like, okay, well, maybe I'm not perfect, maybe I'm a little rusty, but I'm back, you know? And that feels very good. Yeah. It feels good to return to status quo in that way and be making something. And be like a presence again.
I have to say, Fizzcraft is like the best project for me, genuinely, because like my approach to stream and like content making in general has been like pretty lax of just like I'm here to have a good time. I do it at the pace that I do it. And so Fizzcraft being there, like I'm definitely going to be I'm hoping for like 2, maybe 3 streams a week. But, like, it is nice to know that I have some flexibility going into college, and this server feels like it's a lot less, like... There was a period in Willow where I felt like I had to clock in. So, going into this, it feels a lot more like, yeah, this is just... We're hanging out as friends, because that is, you know... That is the pitch that I got from it, was, like, it's just a bunch of people who are, like, just wanting to hang out on Minecraft. So, I am incredibly happy to be invited.
It's like a Hermitcraft style thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. How was your, other than Monument Valley, how did that game go as a game, other than it being like a stream game?
I didn't get to watch Valley? Much of it. I had a lot of fun with Monument Valley. I was saying into stream, you're a bastard. You know that? You're like the person who calls you and then hangs up and then doesn't answer when you call them right back instantly. Because you'll come into Twitch chat and go, "Oh right, new stream. It just started. How's it going?" And I'll go, "Oh, it was great. It's going awesome so far." And this and that. And then I'll get a message from you 2 hours later that's like, "Sorry, had to dip instantly after sending that message. How's the stream actually going?" Only to find out after stream, you didn't fucking hear me. Tell you the second time.
I always stick around. It's just what happens is oftentimes I watch on mobile, and then I'll check like a message or something, and my Twitch is bunked where it stays in picture-in-picture mode, and I can't use the chat.
You have more than one monitor, man.
I know, but a lot of times I'm like out. Whenever you're streaming, I take this as like my walkabout time, pretty much. I do kind of just wander my house when I'm not doing anything.
And it's annoying,
I don't really sit in one place.
It's like you're a nightmare to get a hold of for most things. God. But regardless, Monument Valley was real good. Monument Valley was a really solid game that I had a lot of fun with, and I think it's a little short, but I think if you pick it up on sale, or you're somebody like Jed who just already has a copy available to him through game sharing, go for it. Absolutely give this game the like hour or so it would take to beat it, and just play the fucking thing. Because the puzzles are good. There are some real good, simple, like visual puzzles. They're all very pretty too. It's a very visually impressive game with very little.
That was the thing that I noticed. Like, I joined it, and I think the first thing I said in chat was like, "Oh, this is pretty," because it just like lots of colors and very interesting art style. I really like games that play with their art style a little bit more, and take video games as a medium of like other art as well, instead of just like, you know, the bog standard, like I made a 3D game with 3D assets in Unity, you know? I like creativity like that. But
I like it when the art isn't always the same. But
yeah, I like it when art is variable. But with that Monument Valley stream, I went with my mom to get her like a chair during that time. I cannot sit still. It's a problem.
Chair shopping?
Yeah, I went into like we went to like a Lazy Boy store. How long has it been since you've been in a furniture store?
I was at a furniture store a few weeks ago. What do you mean?
They're like a liminal space of like everybody's living room all at once. It's so gross. Like, it's really weird to see a room of like furniture just sitting
like
around.
4 couches, 4 sectional like L-shaped couches backed up against each other in a quadrant-esque format.
Kitchen tables,
like with wildly different coffee tables surrounding them, and like a couple of like entertainment centers at the other end, and then fucking like all within eye shot of right behind it 7 different kitchen backsplashes, and then a fucking. Like, I guess you do have to get the variety, and so people can see what the thing actually looks like, you know? And it is interesting as like, a furniture buyer to have that information, but, like, as just a casual walker of the space who's not really that interested in the, like, little bits of buying a thing right this very second, furniture stores are a hoot. Just an absolute
furniture stores feel like they went into everybody's house and took one piece of furniture from like a group of like 5,000 people and then just plopped them all in the same room. It's, dude, I was sitting at
they like ran a fucking
dining table set that
they made
didn't match.
living rooms by commission, or by committee rather, where it's like, you know, like, oh well, that guy's couch was pretty cool, and then grandma's rug, sure, and then the coffee table I found, and that'll work, you know. And it's like, you're showing.
Oh, here's this like bent piece of steel rod.
Yeah, and then there's like the like modern decor shit that they do. That it's like, dude, I'm not rich enough to have like a pillar of marble in my home in the abstract shape of a teardrop. No, I'm not fucking
from the
buying
fucking
that.
Lazy Boy
I'm
store,
not pretentious
dude.
enough to have that
thought
either.
It was only chairs there. I walked into that store and was shocked to find that there were more than just chairs in the Lazy Boy store.
Yeah, you go to the Lazy Boy store, they've got a little more than Lazy Boys somehow. Lazy Boy and more, turns out.
Yeah. The shopping experience was pretty good. Like the guy who was helping us was pretty on top of us at first. He was showing us like 5 or 6 different chairs. And we ended up like kind of having to like quietly telling him to fuck off. Yeah, we can totally talk about that.
Dude, I understand. Employees got to get their commission. I asked if we had talked about it, but employees got to get their commission. They got to talk to you. Dude, I was in a GameStop. I'll get into this story after, or actually, I'll get into the story after your story. Just I'll note down on my notes here that there is a GameStop story to be told if I haven't told.
I'll lead us back to GameStop then.
Yeah, I'll have it highlighted on my shit here so I won't forget. We'll tell that story immediately afterward. But you were in the store, and this guy was following you and harassing you and hounding you about, like, hey man, look at my chairs. Gander at the chairs with me.
Different fabrics and this and that. And he was like, well, do you want to come back to the fabric wall and decide a fabric for it? And it's like, dude, we haven't even decided on a chair yet. Give me a moment. So we ended up having to, like, quietly, like, not actually tell him to fuck off, but just like, well, we're gonna take a look around now.
We'll come get you when
we'll discuss.
Need you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we had said. That's what my mom had said exactly. Was like, can we just come find you?
That's the like polite, like, can we come find you? As in, like, can you like go sit behind a desk somewhere or help somebody else, and I'll go amongst myself figure out what I want, you know, or what I think I want, and then maybe if I'm not sure, I'll ask you and go, hey, is this fabric on this chair with these mechanisms a good idea? You know, is that a good combo to go for? You know, or is there something I should be wary of? Like, and it's just like, that's what a salesman should be there for. Anyway, go ahead.
But my mom has such an issue with spending money on herself. She has got like such a problem where it's like, where we come up and Lazy Boy chairs are fairly expensive. and she like sits down in like the cheapest one, and it's like a bit rickety, and it definitely doesn't look as nice as the other ones. And she was like, this one's pretty good. I kind of like this. And I was
this
like,
one's pretty good.
Well, yeah. I was like, she wanted just like a standard, no power, no motor or anything,
no frills,
just standard rocker recliner. And I was like, well, the reason that we went out and got the chair was because she figured out that she was having some like postural issue that was causing her to have headaches. So we were like, okay, no way you can be sitting in this fuck ass Pier 1 chair that we've had for 15 years. Like, this is not happening. We're going to the Lazy Boy store right now. We're going to go pick you up a chair. So like I finally like got her to sit down in one of the electric ones and like fuck around with the lumbar support and shit. And she was like, oh my God, this is so nice. This is great. This like actually makes me feel like significantly better. And so I finally I got her to get a chair that she actually really liked. It was white, which was the issue with it. We were like, oh, can we get it in a different fabric? But it was only in white. And then he tells us about this like coating shit. And typically I wouldn't trust this, but he's like, yeah, we do this polymer-based water coating where we spray it on the chair and then it's like leather where you just wipe it off as long as you get it in the first, minute or two of it being on there and you'll be good. And typically I wouldn't trust that, except they were like, if you get the polymer coating, the stain, like you can have a professional come out and fix the stains for up to 5 years. Like it just extends the warranty out to 5 years for staining and shit. So it's like, if a chair is 5 years old and it gets a stain, it can have a stain. Fine.
Yeah, there's a point of owning a thing where it's like acceptable for it to be imperfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I led to it. But we ended up purchasing a chair, and my mom actually did something nice for herself, and that was very nice. I'm glad that I got to get her to do that. But that's just about the Lazy Boy story. We ended up finding the right chair. It was a good one, and the guy apparently got poached while we were there. We were like going to finance the chair, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know, that guy who I went off and talked to while you guys are there, he showed up and he was looking at the chairs and he didn't seem all that interested in them, but he sat in a couple, and then he came up to me and he was like, hey man, I work at a job. Do you want to come and do an interview for me and work for me as a salesman? I'll like take you out to lunch. Do you want to go out to lunch sometime? And he was like, I don't know, my car's totaled. I can't really do that. And he was like, I mean, I can drive down and we can meet like somewhere closer to you where I could pick you up or anything. And it's like, Jesus, man, that dude wants you. Yeah, well, because we were just like, we were bumming around while we were waiting for like the credit to clear. And so he was like, we were just talking about him getting like fucking poached right there. And like, I just said like, hey man, whichever one pays you better and gives you better benefits, honestly. And he was like, yeah. But
yeah, that was really kind of thing you also got to consider is the place that's desperately trying to hire me going to be around in a year?
I know.
And is the job going to be around in a year? And that's the real like issue of that sort of thing. But moving on.
Oh yeah.
God, this GameStop story. I feel like I told this on the show, but I think I just told it in such detail the like day that it happened to you that like I feel like I told it on the show. Because what happened was I was with my husband and we were just kind of shopping around, and we were like, oh yeah, let's go to GameStop. Fuck it, GameStop is right there. We'll go in GameStop. And so we go in GameStop, and we're wandering for a minute, and we're not even wandering for a minute. We wander into the GameStop. The door gets opened, and before the door is closed, this guy is walking up to my husband in front of me and going like, hey, welcome to GameStop. Can I help you look at anything? You looking for anything specific today? And he went, no, we're kind of just looking. And he goes, oh, well, I just set up a clearance rack over there. Oh, no. The first guy was like, oh, you guys are just kind of looking. All right, that's fine. Yeah, have that. And he was like, he was very chill about just like, you guys are going to come in here. You're going to like go like, oh, look at this plush.
That's what GameStop is.
That's what GameStop is at this stage, yeah. And so it's like, sure, whatever, man. And he walks off to go do something real quick, like within earshot, 10 feet away, because it's a GameStop. And his other, like, his friend, his like coworker walks up to me and goes, can I help you guys with anything? And he goes, hey man, I already got them. I already, those are my customers. I already got them. As like a bit across to him, as like a, leave these guys alone. Come on, they're just trying to look for a minute. Like, And he goes, no, I just set up this clearance rack over here, though. Come look. And he goes, all right, yeah. And like, we have a couple bits back and forth. I do like, well, do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? You know? And he's like, well, nobody's ever asked me that before. You know, we're doing this bit. But he's like, yeah, come look at our clearance rack that I just laid out. I just set it up. Do you like Transformers? We got some Transformers stuff. Do you like My Little Pony? We've got that. And then my husband was like, oh, those, my husband was trying to be polite, Basil. And he goes, oh, I like, those, like, little Sanrio charms are nice. And he goes, oh, you like these? You should pick these up. These are only like a couple bucks and they're on clearance. Come on. And so he was where he's like, but it's on clearance. You sure you don't want it?
Why are
it's
you trying
sale.
to like be a salesman
like,
in
why are you trying to?
GameStop?
How desperate do you have to be? Like, what are the quotas they're putting you under? What quotas are they putting you under to be the guy? Like, and his goal was to send me to his female coworker behind the register to like pay me out, so he wouldn't even be completing the transaction. So I don't know what this guy was selling for necessarily. I guess they were just having some fun with us.
For...
And so this other guy who like was like telling him to leave us the hell alone, basically, comes back over and goes like, "Hey man," you know, he comes back over and he starts talking to me while my husband is being like talked to by this guy. And this guy, first of all, this guy gave me kind of creep vibes because like I don't want to put that on anybody. But, like, anytime I would go, like, oh, yeah, and that over there is pretty cool, I guess. And he would go, oh, yeah, sure, man. But what are you interested in? And pivot back to my husband immediately. And it's like, dude, I'm married. And, like, I started to get a real bad vibe at that point. And then the other guy walks over. And he's kind of focusing on me because he sees that his coworker is focusing my partner. And he turns me around and he goes, like, hey, man, let's... are you interested in anything specific? Can I help you with anything? I mean, there's this... and I was like... Well, we came here and we got some Doctor Who stuff last time, and he was like, "Oh yeah, check out this mug." I don't even remember what the mug was. It wasn't a Doctor Who mug.
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh yeah, you like Nintendo stuff? Here's like a mug. Check this out." And I was like, "Pretty good mug." And it was a decent mug. It was a mug that I would have bought if it weren't $30 goddamn at a GameStop.
Yeah, that's the worst fucking.
And so I was like, I'm not spending $40 on a mug at GameStop. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know if I really want to be buying like kitchen equipment and like utensils at a GameStop necessarily. And he goes, yeah, but it's got a cool design on it. And I was like, well, it's a little pricey. And he goes, well, and I was like, well, I wouldn't want to, we're moving soon. And that's what we fed him because we were past the moving period. But I was like, I really just don't want to buy this mug. So I was like, we're moving soon. So I'm not sure I want to like have to move one more piece of ceramic stuff too, you know? I'm not sure that's necessarily what I want. I'm holding off on buying that kind of stuff. And he went, oh, we can wrap it for you. Don't worry. We can wrap it for you. And I was like,
we can wrap it for you. I'm gonna leave it wrapped for the entire time.
5 minutes. We were 5 minutes into talking about this. It's still wrapped, by the way. We were talking about this for like 5 full minutes to the point where my husband was done talking with the other guy and had they had remerged with us in the group to continue trying to sell this mug because she like the lady behind the counter, she was like, man. Yeah, you guys finding anything over there? Occasionally, like, trying to check in on these two guys, probably. And when she did that, my husband and the other guy go, yeah. And then they come over to where we're at, because we're just about by the register, me and this other dude. And my husband, he's got these, like, charms in his hand that he was going to pick up. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll just get these. And he puts them on the counter. And the guy goes, are you sure you don't want that mug? I mean, you're already buying something today. You could earn rewards points on it. And then I look at my husband, and Basil looks back at me, and the two of us lock eyes with this he's not going to give up. And then I look at Basil with like you're spending the money here. It's your call on if we tell this guy, no, I'm not fucking buying the mug and leave, or if we just buy it and be polite and leave. Because I do kind of want the mug, but just not at that price and not under these conditions. And like, at least I tried to convey all of that with a look, but we both knew what the situation was, and we both knew this guy was not gonna fucking stop. And so Basil went, sure, yeah, wrap it up for us. And the guy goes, oh yeah, I'll wrap it real good. And he takes a bunch of paper bags, he stuffs a paper bag in it, wraps it in another whole paper bag, and then goes and gets a second longer paper bag and wraps it in that too. So I'm carrying a mug in a ball about the size of a bowling ball. I'm not kidding. In like wrapped up that heavily. And he goes, yeah, that'll be nice and secure for you. You need a bag? And I go, yeah, all right. And he gives me a bag to put it in, obviously. And I put it in the bag and we walk out of the store. And they're like, oh, I forgot to mention they kept pushing the Switch 2 was coming out. That dates this story. It was in April because the Switch 2 was coming out. And they were like, oh yeah, we're having a midnight launch for the Switch 2 pretty soon. You guys want to come to that? We'll be there. You guys want to be there? We'll be there. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll see what I can do to be there. I usually don't go to those sorts of things, but sure. And then we walked out, and me and Basil go, like, he goes, we're not going to that midnight launch, right? And I went, fuck no. And he goes, I go, did you actually want those charms? And he goes, not, I mean, kinda, but not for the same reason I didn't want the mug, just like not from GameStop and not for that price, you know?
Yeah.
And because they were like $8 for like 3 little charms. But regardless, we get out of the GameStop, we debrief in the car as to just how awkward that shit was, and we both just agreed to never set foot in that particular GameStop ever again. Genuinely, that was the takeaway. Was like, next shopping trip and every shopping trip forward, I'd like to not be borderline harassed trying to get through, like, and you got to think about how small a GameStop is. A GameStop is literally big enough for like
believe
two
me,
couples to be shopping. It's big enough for like 2 couples to be shopping at the same time, and it's full. That's it. If me, you, and Basil went to GameStop together and all went to separate sections of the store, it would be practically packed, you know? And so having 3 employees, 2 mainly, but 3 in general, like hounding you down and trying to do bits at you and waving you down about clearance items the whole time really isn't fun. I hated that shit. It was just awful. But dude, that was the recent GameStop experience. Dude, you got comment on this story?
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, man, I laughed when you had, like, earlier you were like, it's still wrapped, by the way, and I lost it because it was like, you fucking bought it, because up to this point of the story, you were like, no, I'm not buying a mug for $30, but he's trying to convince me to buy this mug, and it's still wrapped, by the way, and I was like, holy shit, you bought it? You
guy
just spoiled the other side!
Leave me the fuck alone. I know, I said it, and then like, you had mentioned, well, you did it to me. I would like to blame you, considering you went, so you're gonna keep this thing wrapped until you move, and then I got a visceral image of it definitely still wrapped on the shelf waiting to move, and went, yeah, it is still wrapped, before I could consider what that meant for telling the story. But no, I did buy this man's mug. I bought his $30, like $34.99
what was on it?
Fucking mug. I don't remember. I didn't even look at it that hard. I just looked at it and was like, yeah, that's an alright mug. This is definitely my favorite of your section of mugs, you know? I think he said mug, like, they have like 5 or 6 shelves of mugs in their own little like corner, and he just kept referring to it as the mug wall. He said mug wall at least 9 times in a minute, I swear to you.
I swear to God,
I just set up this mug wall. Check out our mug wall. It's a mug wall.
Like, they get like 70% of their money from selling mugs, from selling like fan gamer mugs,
garbage. Yeah.
It's so fucking funny because, like, I think everybody's had that experience. If you've been into a GameStop in the last decade,
well, usually they leave
probably had an experience similar to that.
I've had the employees socialize with me and go like, oh yeah, that's a nice pair of socks or whatever, or like, oh, this is what you're like, after I pick something out, just like, oh, this is what you're interested in buying? That's pretty cool. Anyway, here you go. You know, on the way out, do you have a fucking rewards card with us? You know, and that's the most conversation I'll get forever. But this is the first time I've ever been, like, flagged down by an employee. And these guys knew nothing of the meaning of personal space, I have to tell you. It was a small store, to give them credit, but we were practically shoulder to shoulder, nose to nose, the whole goddamn conversation. It was deeply uncomfortable, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, on a physical level, it was like, there's a lot of body heat in this store. I want to be out. On top of, like, dude, not only that, but this. Yeah.
I've never heard of, like, dude, GameStop workers don't get commission. Like, I worked at a JCPenney's, so I, like, know about selling, because what we would have to sell is credit cards, of course. Like, JCPenney's, the people who work there are not selling you the clothes, they're selling you the credit card. They don't give a shit about what you buy. Because
you're already in the store to buy clothes. You're not here to buy a credit card. That's what they have to sell you.
Yeah. As a worker, you would get, like, I think you would get, like, $2 or $3 for every credit card you sold. And there was, my best day was, like, I sold, like, 10. So, like, that's $20 on, that's 2 extra hours worth of work on top of it. So, like, it was beneficial to do it then.
But it's at the expense of, like, harassing people about it. It's at the expense of, like, I gotta, like, try and sell this lady who, like, is just trying to like get an outfit for her kid, a credit card now, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing that sucked about it, but that's kind of why I got good at it, was because I felt so bad about it that I started like I started giving them discounts either way, where it was like we would have discounts that were kind of secretive, but that were not like you wouldn't get in trouble for using them. So I would just be like, hey, whether or not you're cleared, you're going to get like 25% off this whole thing. And a lot of people found that very beneficial for them. So that was the one thing that I got away with. But what the fuck do you get for selling mugs at a GameStop? You make minimum wage. I'm sure that they get points on their record, I'm sure, for like having people sign up and things like that and like getting on there. But why would you work so hard to sell somebody a mug and a couple of charms at a GameStop?
Here's my thought. Here's my thought on the subject. Like, these guys were particularly pushy about it, but GameStop over the past few years, we had a haha funny GameStop moment last week, but GameStop over the past several years, mostly after 2020 though, is when it got real bad, has started like, if you don't sell enough of X product that we're not selling enough of this week, you are fired, or you will get a strike toward being fired. And so like, I'm sure that was a lot of it, but these guys were like really enthusiastic that we walk out of there with something.
Wow, I didn't know it was that bad for GameStop. I thought they were in there.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, man, GameStop's dead.
From their policy changes.
Like, damn, that's crazy. I really thought GameStop was going to go for the Subway route right now. Like, at this point, I thought they were doing the Subway route, which Subway's business is not selling sandwiches, it's selling Subways and selling franchises for them. So I figured that's just what GameStop is. It's just like, yeah, we sell franchises and you have to like struggle to manage a GameStop. Sure, you could do that. We make money from it.
Somebody has to like sell all these fucking Pokemon plushes and Funko Pops.
Yeah.
You know? They buy so much of this stuff and they subsidize so much of this stuff out that like there's just far too much of it to go around. There are more Pokemon plushes in that GameStop than the county could ever need, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why GameStop has gone that method. Because I remember as a kid, they did have
selling video games isn't as lucrative anymore. Like, people are much more likely to buy the merch than they are to buy the game. Because it's like either $60 for that or $20 for... I guess it would be the place to sell some like hot, like overpriced nerd shit for the sake of like, all right, well, I'm a little broke right now. Video games, they're like $40 to $60. I mean, this shirt though is only like 20. I can get that. Let's get that and go. You know, it subsists mostly off teenagers who like would probably rather be in a Spencer's anyway. You know?
Yeah, or a Hot Topic or something. Yeah.
Like, it's a Spencer's, it's a Hot Topic, it's GameStop at this point. They're, like, all three, like, I'd argue the same kind of chain at this point. Where it's like, they just sell pop culture garbage, and that's, like, it. You know?
Yeah.
And, like, there's some pretty good finds in there, but, you know, for the most part, you know, well, I don't know. I think it doesn't. I think that there are a lot of issues with GameStop's business model, and I think a lot of it is that, like, digital video games have killed GameStop, but it killed it so swiftly and so quickly that GameStop still has enough money to, like, life support itself through the next decade. So, yeah. Like, they've nearly gone bankrupt a few times, especially during that whole stock thing. And it's gotten real bad for GameStop in the past, but, you know, clearly they have a very good parent company or something. Because there's got to be some way that this thing is still afloat. But they've had a lot of close calls that. But
but I think that's just about all I have to say about GameStop.
We've talked to death about GameStop.
Speaking of like collectible knick-knack garbage, plastic ducks are a very interesting thing. And very recently, I think so. Unless you've got somewhere else.
Let's do it.
Recently, as in last night, we were fucking around and we were looking at games on Steam, and I stumbled across a Placid Plastic Duck Simulator is what it's called, and I said it as a joke because it is a multiplayer game. I was shocked by this, and apparently, Vox, you were aware that this is a stream game from a couple years ago.
I'm aware of this game. I'm aware of Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. I think that you'd have to be under a rock to know about our podcast and not Placid Plastic Duck Sim. It's genuinely, it was that big of a stream game a few years ago that it's like, what do you, it's one of the classic stream games though. It's a game that has been, Jed says he stumbled across this. I had this on my wish list for like a decade. This game came out in like 2015 or so, and it's been on my Steam wish list since. I just haven't found a good enough excuse to spend the money on it. And that's why last night when Jed was like, as a joke, fucking Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, and I just went, yeah, fuck it. $1? Yeah, I'll get that. And so I did that, and I bought all the DLCs for like $8 more, and then I sat down and we played some fucking Duck Sim, and we had a good time. I get really invested in it. I think it's a fun time. As like a somewhat idle game, you know, like a very idle game, in fact. Like the most, I think this is the most like watching something that a game can be, frankly. But like it genuinely is like watching paint dry the game, except the paint has a personality and it has like different designs and shit. It's great.
Remarkable amounts of fun, for what it was. Because like last night. Again, I didn't know what I was getting into going into it. So, like, I thought we were just kind of bum around there. But, like, the ducks have personality to some degree. I don't know if it's hard-coded or not.
I got to the point where I was the guy excited about this who spent money on it, and then everybody else begrudgingly went, okay, fine, fuck it. Sure, this. And then, like, picked it up and joined me in it. And then by the end of the session, I was like, dude, I'm kind of sick of the ducks tonight. I've kind of had enough. I've had my duck fill. I'd like to move on, you know? And then, like, you guys were still wildly excited about it. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, we'll stay at ducks. We can hang out at ducks, I guess. And it was fun. Well, it was a good time.
We were just listening to music, but, like, what I got out of it is that, holy shit, man. I don't know if we are actually funny, but we think we're funny enough that, like, we can get entertainment out of fucking anything. We were having, like, a seriously good time out of that. And
which is very good for an audio-only show when you have nothing, literally nothing to look at and riff on other than shit you've pre-prepared to talk about.
Yeah. But it was pretty fucking... I found it pretty interesting because there got to a point where the ducks started interacting in a way that seemed almost intentional. Of course, I'm pretty fucking sure that the way that all the ducks move is that they just like pick a direction, randomized speed. There you go. Now the plastic duck floats wherever it damn well pleases, and it switches every so often. But like, it got to the point where we had like characters happening, where like ducks were beefing with each other, and had like personalities where it's like there were a couple of them that just like. We named a duck Spotted, and he would go all the way down the slide, and then he would get sucked back up and then go straight back down the slide. He was having a good time with that. None of the other ducks were doing that, though. It was genuinely really silly and really fun. But, like, again, what I got out of this was, like, man, I think we should start doing more things that are just, like, riffing on other things. And actually, pre the show, was it pre the show or was it on the pre-show that you brought up that people are just like streaming, watching shit now, like actually watching streamed.
Like, there are reaction streamers that like I got a reaction streamer today that was just watching Wife Swap, and I was like, holy shit, is this allowed? And then I looked into it, and it's like, well, he's been doing this for a while with enough eyes on him that clearly it is. And so, like, I'm astonished by how far reaction content has come, because I would love to be doing that. Frankly, I don't even see it as that lazy as content. I feel like if you can riff well and commentate well, it's good. You know, but, like, that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it, was just, like, what in the fuck, why are we just watching, like, actual shows on Twitch now?
Yeah, like, I have an issue with, like, XQC's style of reacting to things, because XQC, like... sometimes we'll just turn on a video and then actually walk away from his PC just to like entertain his fucking chat. And that's lazy. And just like, oh, chat, what's going on? Chat, what is going on? Is like not very good commentary for things. But I think if you're actually doing it, I don't mind it too much. I agree with you. Like, I think you can add value to it. But yeah, I do think reactionary content would be really fun to do. I don't know if it would be very fulfilling. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be insanely fulfilling, but this guy was like, This guy was crazy. I watched a cut down YouTube video of him watching an episode of Wife Swap in the background, and it got to the point where, like, one of the kids was like, "This lady's taking away my chicken nuggets, man." And it was like, all right, how long until he says something racist to the person of color in his household? He had, like, a very, like, thick accent and was, like, a white kid, and like, under duress, and so they were like, all right, how long until he says something that can be misconstrued as racist? How long? And so they put up, like, a poll for if he would by the end of the episode, and that was the running gag, was, like, waiting on this kid to say something. Oh my god.
God damn.
And so,
dude,
like, there was actual
so
content and interaction to be had. Dude, I would love to be watching Wife Swap at some point. That would be hilarious, by the way. I think those kind of shitty reality shows are an amazing watch.
I have, like, a favorite character from that show. There's a kid on one of them who's, like... apparently his whole household is like a punk rock household, and he's got such a fucking demeanor to him. I'm sure you've seen him, but like at a certain point in it, this
I know exactly which one you're talking
woman, who just kind of show up in her house, just tells him to just like cut your hair. You have to shave your mohawk now, which I think is horseshit. I think if you come to my house, I don't care what reality TV show.
Dude. Oh my god. Yeah, no, finish your point, because I have something to add to that. Go ahead. Fuck.
But, like, he's sitting there, and he's cutting his mohawk off, and then she's like, so how are you feeling? And he goes, being punk is about what's on the inside, not what I look like, so it doesn't matter. And I was like, wow, that's very emotionally mature from, like, an actual child. Like, that's a very good thing, but I think that's horseshit. I think that, like, you should not be able to just rock into somebody's house and call the shots for a little bit, you know?
Well, that's part of the show, and rocking to somebody's house and calling the shots for a little bit is fine when it comes to lifestyle changes, because that's the way it's written in the shows, like, formatting is just like, they'll live like that family lived under the instruction of this wife, and then the other wife will be, like, away doing the same thing to another household, and that's just an aspect of the show. But sometimes they get a little out of hand with it, like, cut your fucking hair, or the guy in this particular episode was a derby car guy, and that's just what he did as a hobby, and he didn't really do much else, and he had enough money to get by and feed his kids and have a good life and be fine and just do his derby car shit and just have fun. And he was like, dude, I'm happy. What do you want me to do? Like, why do you want me to have more money? And she goes, you could have so much more than what you have if you would just sell some of these cars. And then the time came for the rules, and one of her rules was you have to sell one of your derby cars. You have to sell one of the cars you have. And it's like, she can do that? That's allowed?
And
then they backed it out really fast. They had a huge argument about it, and he didn't do it. But the like, show did give her the go-ahead to try. And that is what it comes down to, is like, you're not off the show if you just decide not to. Like, that's people are allowed to walk off this show for multiple days and come back and still be allowed to finish it out. Just for the sake of the drama of it. They just want to see the arguments more than they want to see, like, the actual change in most cases. Like, that's the point, is watching these people who you have, like, who, like, tend to be pretty, like, awful to their kids in a lot of cases. So, like, kinda deserve it. And it's just like, oh, wow, now you get to see them, like, be at each other's throats now. You know? And it's like, I think shows like that are a little exploitative. Honestly, like, I don't necessarily support it for the kids' sake. The Wife Swap is one of the times when it's just like, with the kids, really, but it's just like most of the time it's just the adults fighting, and then the kids are just kind of there for a week, like, not living their best lives necessarily. So they don't usually undergo any abuse under the course of this, but like, it's still a little exploitative. You have to accept. But there's a point where like, the rules for the household get out of hand, and I think cut your hair or sell your car is like, those two are like pretty big ones for like, whoa, she can do that, you know?
I do like that the way that Wife Swap works is just like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing that. Like you could have free reign of like, no, I'm in this house, I'm living it, especially with like, and they kind of had to, because like,
even though they signed a contract for the show, the contract doesn't stipulate any of that shit, because it can't really stipulate any of that shit without like prior information, being priorly informed of it including that shit. And so like, at the end of the day, the camera crew is just there to observe and instruct as to like, hey, here's what you do now. Go and do that. her like the wives.
Yeah.
I'm just like, here's what the next step is, go and do it. But beyond that, the production team just watch. Because like at the end of the day, it's like this is these people's fucking home, by the way. So like, yeah, you did kind of come into their house and tell them how to do things, and if they're not accepting of that, oh well, the show might end early potentially, but like they'll still be on the show if it's a good enough episode, you know?
Yeah, because you want the drama out of it more than anything. Is it a TLC show?
It might be. I'm not 100%
sure. It feels like a TLC show. I think TLC being the learning channel is so goddamn funny. I think unironic because like for my entire life, TLC has been shows like my like 600-pound life or like
which ABC
Porters or things like
is
that.
The Disney-owned one that makes a lot of like.
Is it?
ABC has a lot of women yelling at each other shows because they've got Dance Moms, which dude, oh my god. Dude.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh, Dance Moms is an absolute trip. Dance Moms is great. I love Dance Moms because it's like these kids are being put through this, yeah, but on like some level, it's like these kids don't know any better. But on top of that, it's just like these are the parents making this call, and they would have made this call whether there were cameras or not. So
yeah,
you know, and
I don't
it's
know,
just,
at least we get to like
peek into somebody's twisted fucking
degree.
life, and then we get to shame them. Like it's all out there. Yeah, that's the fun part is shaming these awful people for what they've done. You know, especially when you commit piracy. To observe these shows instead of like watching them through a streaming service of all things. But
is Dance Moms still
those
going?
Kinds of shows. Yeah, dude, I think.
Wow,
they still
that's
make that
insane.
Show. They still make that show.
That should
insane, be one we get to at some point because I feel
like
you would have a really good time yelling at that with me. Because like, dude, dude, I don't even want to get into it. I can't even get into it on the show because I have things to say. My thoughts on this show are very mean-spirited and evil, and so I don't want to share them.
Yeah.
Not because it would get me canceled, I don't know if it's but because if you don't understand the context, I'm just going to be, like, shit-talking some poor dance instructor.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to know.
Man. And the best part about Dance Moms is that all of my experience with it has been you watching it and then coming to me and being like, dude, on Dance Moms this week, the instructor, like, sat down for a moment, tried to instruct them, and then balled up and cried and left.
And then it's like the rival instructor with her purse at the competition later that week. Yeah, it's always some shit like that. And then there's always the moment where, dude, they had a Dance Moms episode where most of the drama is these like rich women can't stand that their kid isn't the best and want to fight each other about it in a lot of cases. But like they had an episode where they were like, all right, let's do the husbands instead for an episode. Let's send the moms away and that'll be our B plot as moms are on vacation, the dads are in. And they kept having moments where the camera crew was just like, well, like the instructor didn't put your kid in like the front position of the dance, like in the main role of the dance. Are you like doesn't that upset you? And like the dads will just go like, no man, what? I'm here to watch my kid perform. I don't really care what the other kids are doing or where she is in that placement. I just kind of want to watch my kid dance. I want to see the thing my kid.
If they're having a good time, good.
If they're having a good time, it's good. I don't really care, you know. And so like they kind of had a dud episode. So like. The majority of that episode isn't the like week leading up to competition. It's the competition where the moms come back and see what happened at the end of the week and start yelling at each other and throwing shit at their husbands and shit.
Jesus,
like that's the
so
like
excessive.
Core draw.
I do think
so good. It's in such excess too. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like that episode has to be necessary though. You have to do that at some point to show that
you have
like,
to do the dads
too.
Yeah,
like. The dads don't give a shit, man. They just care that their kids are having a good time, you know? Like, and that's how it should be. Why the fuck do the moms care so much? It kind of gives you, like, a perspective of, like, oh, yeah, these are, like, characters that we're seeing. And even the show pretty much knows that, you know?
Yeah, these people are ridiculous in, like, every way.
I can't believe
it's
Dance Moms is ABC. I thought that one was also TLC.
I don't think it was. Let's find out.
Yeah, because I know that I think Honey Boo Boo was
Oh, no, it's
TLC.
a Lifetime show. It's a Lifetime show. My bad.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those, it's still in the, like, realm of, like, yeah, this is a channel where we just make fun of people.
Yeah.
You know? think that's such a bizarre thing that got really popular during like. So 2008 happened, of course, and from what I understand, 2008 happened and caused reality TV to be much bigger because of the writer's strike that happened.
Hold on.
What's up?
So, Dance Moms As You Know It with Abby Lee Miller is over. They rebooted it with a new lady and a new dance team. So technically, no, Dance Moms as we're thinking of it is not still going. They've just found a new group of women to, like, watch fight now.
Pick up the torch.
Yeah, like a new group of
continue fighting each other.
I don't see how you could ever end up in a position where you're like, oh yeah, I've seen Dance Moms before. I would totally like to be one of the women throwing shit at each other and screeching at the top of our lungs about our daughters. Yeah, I want to be one of those people.
Yeah, I want to be like actively publicly shamed because that's all
I want my divorce shown publicly and commented on by people who I called my friends last episode. I want my kids to be in the limelight in the worst way possible because their mom sucks. And that just I feel real. I come out of that show feeling really bad for the kids, but it only stems to like fuel my want to keep watching of just like, well, surely they're nicer this episode. Hey, what the fuck? Don't say that's a 9-year-old. You can't say that to her, you know? And like you start to get mad too. And then the mom is like, she said something mean to my daughter, so I'm kicking her in the teeth full force. And it's like, well, I don't know that I'd go that far.
Curb stop her in the parking lot.
Not that they fight. They don't get into physical fights all that often, but it's always like that level of extremity in the reaction to it. Of just like, well, I'm gonna sabotage this entire dance competition because my daughter got yelled at earlier this week unfairly. And it's like, no, I agree. Your daughter did not deserve that verbal abuse. However, your reaction is very disproportionate. You should be going, like, to get her out of this class, and then you end up mad at the moms again. And so you're mad at the dance instructor, and you're mad at the moms for the kids. And so being an advocate for the kids on the sidelines is, like, so great in this show. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? You know, it really, like... And it sucks, but, like, you know, it's a reality TV show that's been over a while.
Kid, right?
Yeah, JoJo Siwa was a Dance Moms kid who pivoted to have,
God damn,
I guess what you would call a successful career.
I guess she's like stumbling through life because like,
of course, all JoJo of those Siwa is the perfect example. JoJo Siwa is the perfect example as to like the overbearing man. This really sucks for the kids involved moment of just like. Because she's stumbling through life because she never got to be a kid and thus never really got to mature or grow up in any way and thus ended up kind of twisted on like and had like a warped perception of reality for a very long time. And I'd argue probably still does to some degree based on her actions.
She's doing like a trad wife thing now.
I don't want to say you've like fucked her for life, dude. I don't want to say that like that like woman is ruined for life because of her childhood, but you sure as shit set her back a good ways.
Oh yeah. Like
especially all that and being in the public spotlight. Yeah, dude, exactly.
Because like she's one of the few Dance Moms kids who got to continue it on like YouTube and further. And like now she's an adult and she's used to either being told what to do and being in the limelight or, you know, just no, literally, she's used to being told what to do, and now that she's an adult and she's allowed herself to make her own career decisions, she's fucking confused about herself because she hasn't figured out her own identity. So, like, that's how we got like Karma's a bitch, followed by like this trad wife era that she's going into. Like, she's just like fucked in the head because she was never given the opportunity to just like sit down for a moment and not be in the limelight. Like. Genuinely, that's professional psych evaluation. Yeah,
that is the way to put it. Yeah. But that is our Dance Moms topic. I think we gotta pivot. You got any other reality TV show favorites, Jed, that you want to talk about?
Oh goodness me. I don't know of any. Really, the only one that I've watched is fucking MILF Manor. We stumbled across
I think I really
HBO
need
Match.
to, like, you know what? We're doing that tonight. I'm taking you down a Dance Moms rabbit hole. We're going there at some stage. We're gonna get real mad at that shit. Because I realize the more and more we talk about reality TV, the less exposure you have to it. And it's like, dude, this is a format that is perfect for, like, sitting down and riffing on. Like, it is the best layout for what in the fuck is happening. This is insane. Like, can you imagine? You know?
Dude, I want to talk about MILF Manor for a moment because that's the only one that I've seen.
Sure, let's talk about MILF Manor.
I don't know if you were there for a good amount of it.
I was there for all of MILF Manor.
We stumbled across it. Okay, great. So we can talk about this together.
This has been a while. That's why I'm so shocked you're bringing it up, because it's been really long. It's been like a year.
It has, more. Yeah. But that's the only thing that I know of. But the thing that stuck out about that show to me was so the concept of the show is it's a dating show with 5 bachelors and 5 women. And then, the twist though is that those 5 bachelors are the sons of the 5 women individually, and then they have to date each other's moms. And
it ends up just as creepy as you think it would be. Anyway, I'll let you carry this because you remember a lot more of MILF Manor than I do. All I remember is the depressed guy. Anyway,
yeah, that's the best story to come out of it for sure. But it was just a really tacky show, man, because the mom and the son share a room. So you have to conversate with your mom of
find
hey,
a partner, or your mom is gonna have to be your friend 10 feet from you in another bed.
Yeah. But the funniest story to come out of it is we get to this game that they're playing where it's okay, you're gonna say the most risque thing you've ever done when you draw a card, and oh no, it was you write it down on a card and then people have to figure out whose is what. And eventually we get to this card that gets pulled that says I slept with your best friend when you were younger, your childhood best friend. And the guy, I think it was the son.
How old were these guys? Hold on. Has anybody done that math
they were
on just okay.
I don't know.
To say, I didn't. Has anybody done that math on when you were younger? What exactly that means?
Yeah. I don't entirely know. They looked like they were about
20s,
mid-20s. Yeah. Yeah, I have no clue. But either way, he pulls this card, everybody looks around really awkwardly, and eventually the mom admits to it, and the guy genuinely
I think the point was that you had to guess
doing all this. Yeah,
and they eventually got it.
And
it's when you get it right, it's I did that.
And he sits there and he looks at her horrified, and genuinely he went from I'm gonna have sex with a bunch of moms and it's gonna be a good time to swimming naked in the pool in a infinity pool looking over the edge, just man, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I want to go home.
He was at a swim up bar in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. intentionally hoping that he would get drunk enough to pass out in the pool and die. That's the state this man ended up in by the end of this. And I feel insanely bad for him because, good lord, could you imagine being that guy? But then you have to think about the fact that you are that guy for a minute who was yeah, I'm gonna go to this beach with a bunch of moms and I'm gonna fuck somebody's mom. It's gonna be great. And then oh man, my mom got fucked. Type shit, dude. And it's what are you on about? You came here to do exactly this, and you're surprised that your mom likes to fuck. I guess it's because it's your friend. It's somebody you knew. That's what really
childhood
me
best
about
friend.
Of just this is my best friend, and you did that? That's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, and he did that, and oh my god, man. I'm not shocked at that reaction he was having, except
no, I'm not shocked at it at all. I'm just saying I feel 1% less bad about it. But the rest of the show was so and we're back with more MILF Manor, where Thomas has just figured out that his mom slept with his best friend. And they cut over to him at night in the pool, drinking alone, talking about how he doesn't want to live anymore.
It wasn't even just a one-night thing, either. The rest of the show, the light in his eyes are gone.
And it's and one of the moms is getting frisky, and we talk about their relationship, we move on, and it's an upbeat reality show again. It's an upbeat dating show again. And then very suddenly we would just keep cutting back to him at the credits of the episode and other sad isolated times of just him doing some sad shit alone. Typically his nightly swim up bar visits.
It was unironically the funniest shit, because then that plot line resolved. It
was so horrifically sad that it looped around with
your mom. Yeah, you have to do a dance with your mom, and he got through it a couple times and was no, I don't dude, you're fucked up. I don't want to be near you right now. Like, he genuinely was that pissed at his mom about that, where like he just didn't want to do it, and eventually he like begrudgingly did it. But I think they got sent home because they did it poorly.
No, yeah, they got sent home that episode at his behest, I'm pretty sure, because after they muscled through it, he still was like, I don't want to do this show anymore. And they were like, well, we have an elimination anyway. Here you go. You know, and like that's how they like transparently worked that out of just like, and they brought a new couple in to replace them because obviously you're down 2 now, you know?
Yeah. It was so goddamn funny though, because that's also where like we stopped watching the show. It was just like, yeah, we've had our fill of MILF Manor now.
That story capping was a good capper for us. For like, yeah, I don't think I need to watch more MILF Manor. This is weird.
Yeah, that reality TV show is just so fucking stupid and silly.
Just bizarre.
It's also like rancid. It's I don't understand it. All of the rooms have hot tubs. So, like, yeah, you have to, like, create a system with your mom of it, like, because the intended goal is for them to fuck. Those rooms are designed for fucking.
Jesus, no, hold on. There are hot tubs in the rooms, and I hadn't yet considered. You brought it up during the show, and you went, oh, dude, there are hot tubs in the rooms? And I went, yeah, man, imagine the fucking chlorine smell, dude. Imagine the fucking stench of having a hot
chlorine
tub in the room.
Smell.
And that's where we pivoted to immediately. So I never, up to this point, have even considered the bacteria that will be floating around in those fucking things by the end of MILF Manor from your mom and or your son. Why would either of you use it? You know?
Why would either of you be on this show, honestly? Like, I think if I walked in and into a show like this and saw my mom, I think I would leave. I think genuinely, because they got blindsided by it, I think I would genuinely leave. I don't think I could do it.
So your mom approaches you, Jed, and he's like, hey, I've been having some trouble dating. Can we go? I signed up to go on this dating show, but there's a catch. Would you do it?
I think so, but that's a really funny story because, like, at this point in time, my mom is like 99% sure she's like ace, and
oh yeah, like, that's why I'm bringing this up as a hypothetical because it's less gross to imagine it now that we know your mom is like perfectly cool. Perfectly cool where she's at. Jesus, this water is killing me, dude.
I think I would.
I bought a different brand of water and it's like sticking in the back of my throat weird. Ugh, awful.
Yeah,
throwing the whole speech pattern
hate
off.
that water can be different.
Yeah, water's water, but man. Why is it different? Anyway.
Yeah, why the fuck does Dasani suck so much? Can't it just be fine? But yeah, I probably would go, but not for like the haha fun dating reasons, but because it's like, yeah, you're going on a dating show and you want me to come with you? Sure. Are you like concerned about your safety or something? Like, I don't know. If you wanted me to come with you, yeah, you know. But otherwise, it's not really my thing.
But yeah, enough about reality TV shows. What else?
Enough about MILF Manor.
Let's talk about Microsoft. Let's talk about Microsoft and what they've been up to. Apparently, reportedly, Microsoft shut down the TV and movie store on Xbox recently.
Are you fucking serious?
They closed it. You could still watch all the stuff you bought there, but for how long, really?
That used to be really nice. That used to be like a very nice thing to have. Because like Xbox used to almost be like the better of the two for media because it also like functioned as a Blu-ray player and its media controls worked really well. Did it? The Xbox One, I thought,
3 had a Blu-ray player. It was the multimedia machine. If you're pointing at anything.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about between it and the PS4. Sorry, I was specifically talking about between it and the PS4, not the PS3.
And the 360. PS4 didn't necessarily do though.
Yeah, maybe I just have more experience with it because I do remember the movie store being like a pretty central focus for the Xbox One move. Like they wanted it to be more multimedia. Like that's what I had meant. But like I'm surprised that they aren't doing it anymore. Is there a reason? Did they give a reason?
Just costs. It's just a cost-cutting measure by Microsoft. You can still watch all the stuff you bought. However, that they say they'll maintain that forever. Who knows, though? Who really knows, honestly, at this point? But it's yet another reason in the long list of reasons why you should be pirating and why you should be why you should be doing more things, why you should own more things. You should ensure that you own the things that you have. You should go out of your way to get physical media. Yeah. That's why that was relevant to last week's conversation, and that's why it's relevant to this week's conversation of just like, yeah, no, streaming services are one thing, but like owning it can never be shut down. You have that DVD or Blu-ray or whatever until it degrades, inevitably. But
God,
like,
it's
a permanent piece.
Speaking of physical media, I was thinking about the concept of this. Do you remember in the 2000s there was a style of DVD that was like an air sealed thing that when it was out exposed to air after like 48 hours it would just destroy itself and become landfill? That shit's fucking insane. I cannot believe that is a real thing that existed and was like okay to be a product.
Capitalism, man.
Capitalism's fucking insane, man. Especially with that sort of thing. But
ridiculous.
No, owning physical media is super, super important if you actually give a shit about it, Like, I think a lot of people take for granted the fact that we have streaming services because, yeah, of course, why the fuck would I own Shawshank Redemption? It's on Netflix. But, how long
will it be?
How long is it on Netflix?
Realistically.
Will it ever be on Netflix again? Like, Dogma is a good example. Dogma was unavailable for, like, the longest time. Because of, it
wasn't available on any service just because it's like the rights to it were up in the air for a very long time. And now they're not anymore, thank goodness. But that still doesn't change the fact that it hasn't been accessible for 20 years. So if you wanted to watch Dogma, you either needed to pirate it or own a copy already on DVD or Blu-ray, which were insanely hard to find anyway. They got real difficult to get your hands on for a very long time. And now they're doing the 25th anniversary ones, or is it 20th? I'm not sure. One of the two. And so, like, they're releasing an anniversary edition on Blu-ray. So pick that up if you can. It's good. Good movie.
Yeah. But, like, I feel like a lot of people do need to take a better thought about what they actually care about when it comes to their media. And, I don't know. I think that if a company doesn't sell if the company doesn't sell it on any platform, I don't feel bad ever about
that's considered abandonware at that point in the software side of things, and like I'm not sure what you would call it otherwise, but like just a piece of media that's just been completely just dumped, just forgotten by the company that owns it. They have no intention of hosting it or caring about it or selling it to you, therefore pirate it.
Yeah. I really like that there's a subsect of people on the internet who will archive just about anything.
Oh, yeah.
And make it accessible, too.
Like, there's a guy out there who buys a new Blu-ray and scans it immediately.
Yeah. And then, like, uploads it to, like, the Internet Archive or something.
Internet Archive or some shit. Yeah, exactly. But on top of this, like, I'm glad preservation is held up. I'm glad preservation is something that's held up. But one thing you can't preserve are people's jobs. Microsoft, on top of closing down their game store in a method to cut cost, Rare, Romero Games, and other subsidiaries of Microsoft are currently facing a very big layoffs. Like just a lot of job losses at Microsoft. They bought remember a couple years ago when they bought these companies, not Rare and fucking Rare, they owned those for a while, but they bought a bunch of companies and we were like, oh wow, Microsoft, how nice of them. They're like an open source platform, or like they're an open platform. They want to be on all the platforms. So it's great that they own things because that means that'll be a cross-platform release now, But then it very quickly became, and now it's very quickly turned from they're saving the gaming industry by buying companies to Microsoft can't afford to own all the companies they bought and now have to destroy them.
I can't believe that. That is genuinely terrible news because for the longest time I was like, man, I actually do like what Microsoft is doing. Like, I'm actually a fan of them, picking up Bethesda and all these different companies. And like, not only from what I remember, they weren't only just like reselling their shit, they were like rebuilding their companies and the issues that they had inside of them, like with Activision and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that they can't afford to keep up with all that.
I feel like Microsoft...
It's a bad decision in the first place. But
I feel like Microsoft is a company that like tends to lean on the side of good with the Xbox stuff. At least like on the gaming side of things, they tend to lean pretty solid and pretty like they lean pretty heavily on having good faith with the gaming community. However, sometimes they remember that they're a corporation and do something evil.
Yeah, sometimes they remember that they have to hit their quota of like fucking CEO bullshit.
We gotta sell more Master Chief helmets, dude.
Yeah, man,
not doing enough of that.
More Master Chief helmets. God damn, I want more Master Chief in general. They seem like it feels like Halo with Halo Infinite. They were really focusing on the multiplayer for it, and I am afraid that that's the direction of the games. Like just in general, I hope that there's more campaigns, but like I recently logged back into Halo Infinite and looked at some of the online features, and goddamn, they have got so much shit online that it's genuinely like one of those games where it's like, oh yeah, no, I can totally tell that this is what they're focusing on, and everything else is going to be fucked in a year, you know? Because this is what makes them the most money, is subscription services and things like that.
Battle passes and whatnot.
Yeah. Or whatever they call them, fucking Chief
whatever
Pass
their
or
battle
something.
Pass is. There's always a battle pass, dude.
It's always got to be special too. Like Fortnite did it first, and then every game ever decided that battle passes are the direction that gaming is going to go these days.
And since then, weirdly enough, Epic Games has gotten, this is a topic I have on my topics list actually, Epic Games has gotten weirdly consumer friendly. Like, I've been, I think they've been, like, scared and shocked into it by, like, and forced into it by, like, the government being mean to them for not being, and having to be at the spotlight of microtransactions in video games for children, you know? But it's made them very wary, to the point where I'm very happy with where they are consumer-wise, of just, like, I got an email, earlier this month, for, hey, your subscription is coming up to Fortnite Crew. Are you sure you want to renew that? Are you sure? You can cancel it in this email right now. And I was like, no, just let it go. And then I figured,
cool.
That probably means that my subscription's coming up on canning itself. Or my subscription's coming up on renewal within the next, like, day or two. No, they sent that a week ahead. A full week ahead. I had so much lead time to do that.
That's, like, better than most, like, actual serious, like, bank companies and shit like that will do for you, man.
My bank doesn't give me that much notice sometimes.
Yeah. And, like, I appreciate that. I hope that people start following in their footsteps, because I do think that Fortnite, by far, has the best Battle Pass system I've seen. With the exception of Helldivers. I think Helldivers only beats it out simply because once you buy it, it can never be taken from you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not specifically you have to play during this time.
Yeah, there's no FOMO associated, because you just play them in order, no matter when you buy them.
Yeah, I don't even know if I would consider Helldivers having that, counting that as a battle pass. I think that's just, like, their systems for earning things, you know?
I would call that a battle pass, simply because of the way, like, it has pass in the name, and it's laid out that way. It very clearly was the intention, in design, and so I have no problem labeling that a battle pass, even if it is one of the better ones, because of that forever availability of it.
I wish that was done more often. However, I do understand the appeal of the Fortnite Battle Pass as somebody who has been participating in it.
And you get a lot less brand crossover when it's like, well, you have to give us your character to be available in our game forever.
Yeah. Instead of just, like, whenever we decide to put it back in when you say it's okay.
That's what I'm not happy about, really, with the whole Battle Pass system and the whole, like, Fortnite live service thing that's going on. The only thing that really irks me about this is companies have gotten a little too comfortable with the fact that they can just pull whenever they like and go, like, yeah, we're not in Fortnite anymore. I don't want to be in Fortnite. Don't put it back in Fortnite. The people who have it, of course, but, like, I don't want to make that available ever again. You know, they're a little too comfortable with, well, I can make this decision and then I can go back on it in a month because, like, that's what the norm is now. And it's, that's the one side effect that I'm not really digging of the way Fortnite does things with their Battle Pass. That and the FOMO, because there are a lot of things that I do want.
That we're just fucked forever, you know?
And that's fine. That's just a nature of how the system works. I just don't like that gives IP holders so much power over what you can and cannot experience of the content available in this video game. Because so many artists sit down, like, you wear a Solid Snake skin a lot, which I think is a really, well, not a solid snake skin, but you wear a snake skin a lot, and like, I think it's a really well put together Fortnite skin. Like, an artist clearly sat down and really cared about this all the way through production, and yet you can't buy it anymore. You can't even see it unless you happen across somebody wearing it. That piece of art is just, for all intents and purposes, gone.
And
unless you like bothered
kind of
to buy
that's
it.
upsetting.
And it's the amount of art and labor
that's the reason that I got into
really
Fortnite in general. Is because I got FOMO for it because it was like, well, fuck, Solid Snake. This is the first new content of Solid Snake that we've gotten since Metal Gear Solid 5. Of course I'm going to pick it up. Like, I've got to play it. And I guess that worked for what they were intending. However, I don't know.
They got your money.
I would have preferred if I could have, like, picked him up in a couple years when he was in the shop. However, then, like, if I saw him in the shop today, I would be a little bit pissed that I even involved myself in the Battle Pass. Because it's like, well, fuck, what's the point of me, like, putting all those hours into the Battle Pass if,
well,
like,
the point is that you didn't have to
it
spend more real money on it. Like, the fact is, you paid $10 when a skin costs, like, 1,800 V-Bucks, which is, like, $16. Like, $16. Instead of paying $16 now, you get the benefit of I worked for it after giving them $10 and managed to save myself $6 to $8 in the process, and got a shitload of other content with it, you know? And I feel like that's the trade-off there. So I don't ever feel, like, pissed or, like, upset whenever I see something that I own in the item shop, because it's like, oh, I don't feel like that was less worthwhile now. I feel like I got it for cheaper, for sure, and I love that.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, it's just weird that, like, it is weird that even the older Battle Pass skins, like Battle Pass 1 and 2, like, there are a good amount of skins that I have from the third Battle Pass period. Like, and it's weird that those skins are just gone forever. Like, unless you played in 2018 when it was a niche game, like, you will never ever be able to see or play that skin unless you happen to be there when it happened, you know? And have been willing to pay money to Fortnite, which at the time was significantly, like, it was much harder to convince yourself to pay for Fortnite when it was like the zombie game that they were trying a fucking battle royale mode because PUBG did it. You know,
the bandwagon hopping zombie survival game that was already, like, zombie survival games were the previous bandwagon, and now it's trying to jump to battle royale. They just made that transition really well because nobody played Fortnite when it was Save the World and nothing else.
Oh yeah.
So, they got to kind of rebrand themselves without much issue, you know? And it wasn't even necessarily a rebrand, it was just sort of a genre shift. I'd argue that, like,
it was,
Save the World, if actively developed, would look artistically exactly like Fortnite does now, you know?
I think so, yeah. Like, I think overall, if they somehow were making the same amount of money off
if it were as successful and could be just as good, then yeah, it probably would be. Because a lot of people talk about the stylistic differences between the two, and it's like, I don't really see that as different art styles so much as just evolution on an art style over, like, iterating on it for, like, a decade.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there was a really awkward period when they first started bringing in licensed characters. It was a very awkward phase for the game where it was like, man,
who was the first collaboration character in Fortnite?
Oh man, I think it was if I remember correctly, I was involved with it. It was during the Marvel crossover. They did one for Infinity War. I'm pretty sure.
No, you're right, because like everybody was like, "What the fuck? Thanos is in Fortnite? What do you mean Thanos is in Fortnite?" I remember that. That was definitely the first one I remember happening. Was the first Marvel.
Here, I'm double checking. So this is okay. So they did some with YouTube content creators. That's technically a collaboration. However, the first like multimedia collaboration was the Infinity Gauntlet in season 4, which was really fucking crazy. Season 4, really?
I was in high school.
God damn, yeah. No, I was in middle school. I was playing that shit, dude. That's crazy. But nonetheless, once they got into like a weird, awkward phase of like, man, these sure do
So I
look
remember
like
because what they happened was
characters.
because what had happened was like the Marvel characters, sure, whatever, because they weren't necessarily the MCU or they weren't the MCU designs, they were just the designs of the
Yeah.
characters, and then so it was like, yeah, these sure do look like something. And then we got the Naruto characters shortly after, and they had tried their hand at their first like cell shaded sort of thing with them, and it was like, oh, that looks like ass. I still think a lot of the Naruto stuff looks really bad. Like a lot of the cell shaded stuff they did like pre 2020 looks really fucked.
Yeah, it looks funky for sure.
They just hadn't quite gotten
but they've gotten much
yet.
better at it.
They've gotten way better
their
at
pen
it.
and
Yeah.
ink style or their anime style is so much better. Like
Apparently people
I
don't
think
like the
that
pen and ink stuff nearly as much. Still.
Yeah, I think it's because they do it too often, is what I understand.
Yeah. I guess.
But like the DBZ Fortnite skins are some of the best 3D models that like we've seen of those characters. Arguably better than Sparking Zero in some cases, in my opinion. Not with Goku. Now that I'm looking at Goku, not with Goku nearly as much.
I think
what's weird?
I think that like a lot of the Fortnite aesthetic differences of like when you compare the designs and there is an active design choice change, I usually like it more. I usually enjoy it a lot. Like their design, the artists they hire for these designs are really good. Like they know what they're doing from minute one in most cases.
Like that's kind of how I feel about Fortnite when I play it these days, because like I do feel kind of bad where it's like I sure am giving Epic Games like a portion of my money for this, but then like I think about the Fortnite developers and it's like no, I think they earned it. Honestly, at this point, part of me feels like they earned it, where it's like you guys literally worked your way up from
if you can
save the world to this.
Have they earned it, but like for themselves, but like they've earned it from you also. Like that's how I weigh it. I'm just like, I don't mind buying the battle pass because statistically I'm going to play through at least 2 weeks of the battle pass, and so like I'll get enough out of it really for it to be worth it. And if I'm gonna get 2 consistent weeks of fun out of a game, the developers can have $10. Sure. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And like, especially with their crew system, I don't want to be like a shill for their crew.
No, the crew system is really good.
Like,
I don't want to sound like I'm like selling for Epic Games here, but I really like that as a model for like getting the stuff.
Yeah, because like ultimately, yes, you pay $30 for a single season. However, you're paying $30 for everything in the season, and you don't get fucked over by like your battle pass getting screwed. You know. And from what I understand, if you bought the battle pass prior and then bought crew, you get refunded for the battle pass that you bought. So they don't even just like eat your cash, which they probably could have done, and nobody would have like people would have been annoyed, but it like nobody would have stopped them, I don't think. But yeah, Fortnite is a very fun modern day thing to see from that perspective. I would love to take 2018 me and like show him like Fortnite at current day with a bunch of different like licensed characters from literally fucking everywhere and have a time with it, you know?
Yeah, it's cool to see like a big crossover event like this, because that's what I see Fortnite as, is just a huge crossover event these days. And it's a fun game under all of it too. I still have fun with all the stuff they have in it. You know, even like if I had no skins, no shit at all, I would still be having fun with Fortnite. You know, but they just elevate it to that next set of being even more fun for like, oh well, now I'm doing it with Goku and Master Chief.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I noticed about Fortnite. I realized that was the turning point, was when I think God of War Kratos was the first character to come from the Sony side of things. And I think we had already had some Microsoft properties in it. And it was like, holy shit. Sony and Microsoft are able to allow each other to be in the same space.
Yeah, they can get along long enough to be in the same room with each other. That's crazy.
Yeah. Especially because, like, a huge
They're very
issue
protective
with
over these
Fortnite,
exclusivity properties. Yeah.
A huge issue with Fortnite up to that point was it's not cross-compatible because Sony is a bitch and they did not want to work with Microsoft at all. So then, like, because I stopped playing at around the time that it was like, yeah, Sony won't give them rights. Like, we just barely got crossplay, and Sony was pretty pissed about it, and they had to take some take some L's for it on the Fortnite side of things. But then you're seeing it in the headlines a couple years later about Kratos is in Fortnite, and it's like this is insane that Fortnite is what was able to bring these guys together, But
yeah.
Nonetheless, I think I've said just about all I have to say about the Fortnite.
Well, moving on to another gaming company's financial decisions. Valve headlines have been popping up saying things like Valve content guidelines have been changed to appease payment processors such as like MasterCard and Visa, because apparently these companies came out and they were like, "Hey, I'm not sure I like that people can buy My Roommate is a Futanari 2 with their MasterCard. I'm not sure that I like that is allowed, or that I like that you can buy games like GTFO with like an absurd amount of fucking blood in them, and like violence and gore.
Really?
I'm not sure that these are acceptable. I know, what like Puritan bullshit. But anyway, on the blood thing at least. But they were like, I'm not sure how we feel about what can be bought on your platform, Steam. So Steam was like, or Valve was like, okay, well, we've updated our terms of service. And everybody's like, oh man, we don't like the terms of service. We don't like that. And it's like, not only do we not like that, apparently the problem with it is not that the content is being limited. People actually are kind of seem positive on like, yes, please put less sexual stuff on my Steam front page, please. But people are mad because the guidelines are too vague. They're way too vague about what counts. So the exact quote from Steam's content guidelines are, quote, content that may violate the rules or standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks, or internet network providers. So if any of those groups listed decide they don't want people buying your game, Steam just removes it from the store. At that whim.
That's fucked.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that even a little bit. Yeah.
I
think
people are
that
outraged
Steam
about this
should have.
People are outraged about this decision, and Valve's response was basically, well, what are we going to do? I mean, either we stop taking every credit card known to man, or we stop selling certain video games,
Well,
so just be careful.
I don't see why.
But it's that's still
I don't see
shit.
why it couldn't just be a system where it's you can't buy it with your MasterCard, however, get a PayPal account, Or we should have some sort of secondary thing where it's Steam can take fucking crypto or something. Where it's the card providers, maybe you can't buy
because that still matters because these credit card companies have designations of you can't buy this kind of stuff with this credit card, because a credit card is them loaning you money, basically. Even when you pay it up, you pay it to zero. You're going in debt, and they're like, we don't want our company's money spent on this, or this. So for any reason, through any service, PayPal included, even if you obfuscate it with another payment service, we can still find out that that's what you spent your money on, and we can still get your ass for it,
God damn.
For misappropriation of funds.
That's a real bitch.
Yeah, it is.
I think that is actually, really fucked up when it comes to, not necessarily on the Steam side, but, I think that they should be. Their hand was forced, and
I'm sure they'll find a way to get around it. It's just for now, there's a weird, sketchy bit about releasing a porn game or a game with a lot of gore in it right this very second.
Yeah, because I don't know, it feels almost a free speech issue. Just
it
because
does. It absolutely is.
I guess right to refuse service to anybody ever is something that's allowed, but it feels fucked for a credit card company to be able to refuse a purchase on it when it's a credit card. If it's a gas card, it only works at gas stations. I signed up for that. That's in its TOS. Maybe it is in its TOS,
but a random.
Maybe I didn't read TOS. Bank of America's.
There is a section in your credit card company's TOS. I read this article and I got a lot of information about credit card limitations. And it's I have a medical card that I use to help offset medical bills, but I can only use it for medical things. It's in the TOS that way, and I'm sure if I went digging into my MasterCard or my Visa or my what have you, and I looked in, I'm sure there would be a number of oh yeah, here's this stipulation or that stipulation, and then because just the same way that they have stores they encourage you to shop at with their card through partners, They have places that they really don't want you spending their money at, you know?
Yeah.
Which is still strange and weird, especially when it's dictating art and, like, what can be presented.
Especially with art.
It's very strange. I don't want a credit card company executive telling anybody what they can and can't make, you know? Like, because it's less about what can I not buy with my credit card and more about, like, well, what can you just
tell me I can't?
Because it's not even just credit cards. Apparently, this applies for certain banks and, like, debit cards under the same companies as well. And it's like, that's even weirder, because it's like, you're dictating how I can spend my money. The money I made. Really?
Yeah.
Like, a company is now responsible for what you can and can't buy, and that really sucks. That had to be capitulated to.
Yeah. I can't fucking believe that. Does it work for debits, too, or just credit cards?
That's what I'm saying, is, like, certain debits as well have terms of service based on their provider that, like, apply.
Worse.
Like, overarching. They're mostly there for the credit cards, but, like, you know, we're Visa. We make both. So...
yeah, but, like, with debit, that is actually your money.
Like, that is
you have
insane.
no
that
stake in my money.
Yeah.
Like...
They've got stake in the bank that has it.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it into a bank, your money stops being your money and starts being the bank's money that they,
but regardless, even
give out to you.
From, like, the perspective of a credit card company, this is kind of a big overstep that this is the norm.
It is huge,
you know?
Yeah. It's fucking insane.
It's like, yeah, if you buy crack with your credit card, sure, yeah, get them.
Of course.
But, like, as long as you're not using it for anything illegal, I see no reason why you shouldn't be able to use your credit card for anything, so long as you pay it up, you know, and it isn't, like, a designated card. Like, that's, like, purpose-built, you know?
And the question is, and this is a fallacy, nonetheless, this is I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's the concept of, like, you know, give an inch and they'll take a mile. But, like, at what point are we going to get to, oh, we don't want you shopping at this company because we don't agree with them? Not because,
we don't agree with their policy.
You know. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm worried this will go, and, like, even beyond, like, the panic of that, like, beyond getting into, like, what can happen in the future, I already don't like how this looks. But luckily for us, there are a bunch of other people who also vehemently, far more actively than we do, don't like how this looks. So Valve is very well aware of that,
sure there's
and they're usually pretty responsive. They're pretty responsive to this kind of thing. And so I'm hoping that community feedback will lead them to, like, retract this decision and go, and, like, even worse case, just, you know what, fuck you guys, we just won't take MasterCard anymore, you know, or whatever it happens to be. Like, no names were named, it's just kind of a conglomeration of, like, different credit card companies being individually like, hey, we don't like that, so stop, you know?
I do kind of hope there's legislation that comes out of it too on, like,
I hope so, yeah.
Hey, if you're a company and, you know, I have a contract with you, you can't, like, just say that, no, I can't spend money there, you know, unless you actively say you can't spend money at this place in the contract, you know. I don't think that the right to refuse service to anybody should apply to, like, fucking money, you know. Yeah. But nonetheless, that's
our talk about Valve's decision on that sort of on the credit card manufacturers and their or credit card carriers and their wants to censor Steam, and they're just going with it. The answer is fuck it. You know what? Yeah, sure.
I kind of hate that we live in, like, partially a modern era where it's like, if you have enough money and power, you can bully anybody into doing anything, you know. So I'm really hoping that, like, I'm already seeing it in our generation where, like, we're all getting pretty, like, no, fuck you, we're the people, we can, like, protest against this and get things changed about it. So I'm really hoping that is what's going to happen again. And I'm pretty sure it will, because I find that good always outweighs the bad when it comes to these sorts of things, where it's like, people will always be like, no, this shit's horse shit. I'm just gonna stop doing this if you're gonna keep doing this, and then it always ends up fine. I find, you know, at some point. But
absolutely. Yeah. But do you have anything else for us? Because I got some more game news. If we want to talk more gaming news.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go more game
from
news. I don't have anything on topic
that we didn't get to look at. All right. So, the Zelda movie has been cast for now.
Oh yeah,
and we get Benjamin Evan Ainsworth and Bo Bragason cast for Link and Zelda respectively. These are both actors that I know nothing about from anything they've been in. And so that is weirdly both concerning and kind of not concerning at all. Because it's like casting, at least they've learned from the Mario casting where they're casting unknown actors instead of A-listers, you know? Like, I appreciate that they're casting smaller actors for these roles. It will be a live-action movie. It won't be animated. And it's being produced by Avi Arad, who worked on several comic adaptations, like the Spider-Man movies and the X-Men movies. So, like, he's the guy responsible in those movies for ensuring the adaptations are faithful to the source material. And so, like... And I'd say, like, for movie standards, for, like, Hollywood standards, the Spider-Man movies come out pretty fucking good in that regard. And the X-Men movies, a little more complicated there. But still, overall, I think big picture, it was pretty much done. But it's also being directed by Wes Ball, the guy who did the Maze Runner movies. So that's a real, like, what, oh no. You know? Like, not to say anything negative about those movies, but those are movies based on young adult novels, and so they're not phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know?
I would be very curious to see how this turns out. Like, that intrigues me more than it concerns me or anything. It's just like, that is information about the movie that does add to its overall whole.
That is a roller coaster of aspects about this movie that, like, genuinely, like, it's like, oh, well, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad for each one of them. And so, like, it has... like you said, raised my intrigue too of like, I definitely want to see this movie done. I want to go see this movie, but maybe out of more of a curiosity than an excitement so far. I'm sort of waiting to see. I'd like to see some set photos pretty soon. I'd like to see some costuming. And I'd like to see some promo eventually. And I'm sure because casting just got announced, I'm sure that those things will be happening like next few months. So like this will be a long running saga of just like, what's the movie? Oh, here we go. So, like, I'm sure there'll be plenty to be heard about that. But for now, that's all we got.
I'm very surprised by
acting
the
casts, and then yeah,
well, like they're both pretty babyface for the role. I figured that if we were going to do a Zelda story, it would be like, 17 or 18. Well, maybe I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to see like 17 and 18-year-olds as much younger. Are they not typically?
No, they're like...
No, I guess I'm just used to... I'm used to Breath of the Wild.
Link is like a child most of the time,
Yeah, I'm just used to Breath of the Wild. That's wild.
So I think that
Breath of the Wild and
is fine. I think that pretty much splits the difference. Well, even in that, Link's only like 17.
Yeah, like...
He's like 17 and 7.
That's what I had meant. Yeah. That's crazy, by the way. That fucking story. Silly shit.
What?
But
Ocarina of Time, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is fucking
crazy comment on Ocarina of Time. That's crazy.
Well, no, every so often I'll fucking think about it, and it's like, was he just standing there for those 10 years? Like, what happened? I know, like, time went forward. It's time travel. But, like I have to wonder.
It's magic, man. It just happened instantaneously.
Yeah,
there is no other side of it to look at. I don't think.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it's just because of the aging is the funny part about that story that always like sticks out to me. Because like that, is there any other stories that do time travel where you get to age too? You just like you just skip all the steps in between?
There are de-aging stories like 17 again, and then there are time travel stories, and they don't really cross over all that often. And so like I'm sure there are examples. I'm certain there are, in fact. I'm certain I've seen examples of it in the past. I just would not be able to point you in the direction of a piece of media that does that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess that's wild. What makes the Ocarina of Time story weird to me in my head. But, is there more game news?
That's just about all of our game news, other than, Castle Crashers. Castle Crashers got a character creator recently. Did we talk about that last week? I meant to last week.
No, we didn't talk about that last week, I don't think. I think we've talked about that privately, though. And that's really fucking cool. Like that's really cool. uh is it it's open source, I assume, but like is it in the game or is it just like you have to know how to code and shit to do it?
Sure, I keep seeing stuff about it. But what I'm seeing as far as the process goes, I did learn about the process, and the process is they give you like a sample sprite sheet, and then you draw your own sprites, and then you feed that to the game, and the game pops out a character using those sprites.
Wow,
and
that
like animation
is
frames.
really,
You just
really cool.
draw them in a sheet and then throw them on there. Like you could do it in any medium. You could do it on fucking physical paper if you wanted to, and scan that in.
Wow.
And they've opened it to workshop support so people can post the things that they make there for other people to experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm seeing. I just looked up, like, the creative characters. These are really fucking cool. This is
I got a post from them the other day, like a week
game.
after they've added it. Like, it's great that this is still on my topics list, because they announced this last week sometime, early last week. And then early this week, they've given us the reverse of just like, hey, now that this has been out for, like, long enough for the first few creations to be coming in, share with us the things you've been making. And I scrolled that thread on their Twitter, and there are some really stunning characters in there. Like, there are some really, like, talented artists. Like, and I was shocked at the amount of people I was seeing matching art style. Like, going out of their way to match art style with Castle Crashers to make sure it looked right. Because usually Steam Workshops end up flooded with, like, Mario. And it's like, yeah, no, that's him. Yeah. There he is. You know, there's completely Mario. Out of art style. But no, in this case, I'm seeing a lot of, like, people going out of their way to draw, like, insert thing here as a Castle Crashers character for the sake of putting it in Castle Crashers, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, now I kind of want to fuck around with it. Maybe I'll do that this week. I've been looking for an art project, and this seems just silly enough, you know?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I didn't know very much about that though. Yeah, and they even like themed the DLC that it came with around like Paradise Painter boss. So it's that like painter boss that there is right at the end of the game. But he gets to be involved, so I've been seeing that.
Painter Boss Paradise. That's like the name of the editing suite for it. Thank you. I had no idea.
Oh, it's an editing suite.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was a DLC. Inserting them, and then you can work on it, and then you can do it. It's a DLC for the game that adds an editing suite. I'm pretty sure. Again, the exact technicals of it escape me, just because I haven't sat down to fuck around with it just yet. But I do want to fuck around with that. That is something I absolutely would love to pick up and screw around with at some point. Especially while we're on our Castle Crashers kick, personally, lately. Like, it's a good time for it, so that we can break those out and do a playthrough those. Or a playthrough with those, rather.
That will be so much fun. Yeah, it is just like a PNG template. This is it's really fucking cool. This is super open source. I did not know just how... This really reminds me of, like, when I was a kid, I absolutely adored character creators in anything I could get it. I played this, like... create a character out of mismatched pieces of like Fantastic Four characters and shit from Marvel. I think I brought that up to you at some point in time, but I just absolutely loved those things. So seeing this is like, man, if I was a kid, it's even in a format that like you're allowed to print out and draw, you know? Like that's
like
what
they put it
like,
in such a way that it's like you just feed it a PNG. So if you can draw it on physical like if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, you have enough to make a Castle Crashers character right now, you know?
And that's
you don't need any editing software. You don't need any drawing software. You can just do it.
Especially for like, how old is Castle Crashers now? Like,
it's a way too old of a game. It's like an Xbox Live Arcade game. It's way too old of a game to be getting like lifelong support like this deep down its like timeline. You know.
Yeah, 13 years later, getting something like this is really, really awesome. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. The Behemoth does always seem like they care about the people that play their games. Like
they're really well polished video games. I enjoy them to a great degree. I don't think I've ever had some bullshit happen to me in a Behemoth game. Like I feel like they're all pretty well made video games.
Yeah, like they do have like some shit going on in them. Like don't get me wrong, they aren't perfect.
But it's like, those are more proclivities of like, yeah, I guess you could get good at this, you know? And it's like, you can tell in the art and in the, like, in the design of things that it's like, yeah, no, somebody, like, gave a shit. Somebody gave a real shit about every aspect of this, you know?
Yeah. Wow, okay. Interesting. They have at the bottom of this little template that I have up on my screen. It's like it's got like special art around the template too. It's not even just like a PNG. You've got like little characters on there, and it says this template is your secret key. If you show someone else your secret key, they can claim it as their own. So this feels very much so like the old days of the internet when it was like, yeah, I'm gonna print out like a Phineas and Ferb cutout. So then I can,
this looks like a Flash game.
Weird situations in my backyard. Yeah, and that's great. That is genuinely awesome.
It's a little craft project for the kids. Yeah, and a fun little aside for the adults who played Castle Crashers 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. But
just an excuse to return to the classic. Man. But what else you got, Jed? You got any topics for us? You haven't been a big topics guy. It's not time to end yet. Don't do your I think.
Okay.
We got 5 minutes. Come on. Give us a topic.
Oh, do we have 5 minutes? Okay. I misunderstood. I read yeah, you're right. I got the time code wrong. Here, I'll get us a Fiverr topic then. Sure. So recently, you and I were both in the theater for different things. I ended up seeing Superman, by the way, everybody. It was great. It was fantastic. Probably my favorite Superman movie. Or not Superman, but superhero movie.
Go watch last week's
we went
in
way
more
more
in-depth thoughts on that.
Week.
But you were also in the theater for another movie.
Yeah, I ended up watching How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version. It was really good. I have a hard time saying because I have such a hard time with remakes because remakes are always feels like a cash grab. But this movie felt like they really did care about retelling the story in a way that made sense, and like the prop department and everything. This wasn't like, yeah, we're doing the Lion King, but now instead of the lions having personality, they just look like regular lions walking around. No, like,
yeah, it doesn't fall into a lot of the like trappings of this sort of a like a live action remake movie. Yeah.
Yeah, all of the dragons look like they came straight out of the original movie. Like they genuinely look 1-to-1 with it. They just look higher fidelity. All of the set design is really incredible. I thought it was genuinely a worthwhile movie to see. I don't think it's worthwhile to like, you should go see it in the theaters. It's just like this. If we are going to do remakes, I hope there are more like this. Because I actually had a fun time with it. And I don't think I've watched, like, I'm remaking a cartoon movie into live action. I don't think I've ever seen a movie like that before that I actually came out of the theater and was like, yeah, I had nearly as much fun with that as I did the first time I went to see it when I was a kid, you know? And I think that's good.
That's actually really high praise. Honestly, that's really high praise. I don't really have much thought on it. I'm not a huge How to Train Your Dragon guy from like minute one. My only thought about it is mostly on the theme park side of things of like, guys, we just opened a theme park themed around the animated version of this. Why the fuck did we just release a rebranded version of this?
No, that's the funny thing, is that, like, from what I can tell from the movie and from what I can tell from the theme park, they, like, it seems like that's just the route they're going for, and it almost seems like the theme park is there because of
live
it.
Action thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's almost there just to, like, show it off. And I think, because I saw it in the parks, and the parks look like they're based on the cartoon, but the movie looks just like the park, too. Like, to the point where it works, both ends. And that's great. That's so good. I'm so glad that we aren't like, because with Disney, it felt like we were retreading history. It felt like we were trying to
erase history and get more money on the side by having like, oh yeah, the Lion King, here it is, or like, oh yeah, here's the Little Mermaid retold. Enjoy, you know, Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. Yeah.
But
by the way, can we talk about that real quick? Can we talk about how weird it is that 3 fucking Pinocchio movies came out in a year one time in 2022?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? That's super strange,
They were all so wildly different. Yeah.
Like 3 wildly different Pinocchio movies.
Because we had the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, which was like, that's
I'd argue
like an
the
art
best
house
of the 3
film.
for certain. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then we had a cash grab Disney film. And then we had one of those like Blue Sky-esque the Blue Sky, the production company. But like, yeah, but I just mean like that sort of looking style where it's like, yeah, this sure is 3D animation. Where it's like we got that with. Oh man, that meme went around for a while. That like,
wow,
when
did I
can
really
be
just
on
get
my
the right
own?
answer from doing that?
Did you?
I went to because I was like, who made this movie? And like went to Google and typed who made gay Pinocchio, and it's all the results. I'm getting exactly what I wanted
honestly,
instantly.
Well, because like his voice was like, when can I be on my own? Like, why was he talking like that? It was so funny because we get that, and then we get like Art House Guillermo del Toro trailer, which is like entirely in Spanish because, of course. But like, it was such a like a back-to-back weird thing. But I didn't consider that was all the same year. I just considered that was all recently.
The bad Pinocchio came out in 2021. The other two came out in early 2022. So they're all still within a year of each other.
Okay. Yeah. But still, that is a back-to-back time to get oversaturated on fucking Pinocchio, man.
It's a Russian animated
But speaking of
film?
oversaturation, is it?
It was made by some... I don't know, man. But what I do know is that we're at about the end of our show now. Like, we've got our fiver out of those topics. Sorry.
Yeah, we got our fiver.
Pinocchio. But, yeah, go watch the Fizzcraft launch if you haven't. I hope you've enjoyed our show so far, though, because we have enjoyed making it. And if you want to see more episodes like this, whichever platform you're watching or listening to this on, you can click on the profile and you'll see a whole lot more of them. Alternatively, if you want to see what other platforms we have, you can go to our card page, which you can also find our Patreon, where we release pre-shows every week ahead of this at 2:30, and then links to the main show on other platforms like YouTube, where we do live premiere is what they call it over there, but it's like live, not live. We pre-record these for transparency's sake. We completely pre-record these, but they get played live there so that you and a chat can sit and premiere and watch it and hang out and comment on the show actively. And I think that's one of the better ways to watch our show, honestly. But that aside, you can also find us on Spotify. Those come out at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, pre-show at 2:30 if you're on the Patreon. And yeah, I think that about does it for our show today.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye!
Goodbye!